Hey, honey.
Yes, darling.
I have got the best anniversary present for you, all sorted.
All right, let me look this up. Well, you've got to make sure you get the right material. You know, the first one's paper. Whatever jewel we get to, we got different materials. What possibly could be the 9th anniversary gift?
It's goose feathers. Good, because Untitled Goose Game, co-op, baby!
Untitled Geese Game. Let's cause some havoc together. Honk.
The Gaming Lovers Podcast with Brendo and Jem. G'day and welcome to episode 115 of the Gaming Lovers Podcast. I'm Jem.
I'm Brendo, and we are the Gaming Lovers, here to discuss video games in a serious and uninspiring manner.
Indubitably. We are very excited that Untitled Goose Game is getting a co-op mode, and we'll be talking about that and some more gaming news a little later on this episode, as well as looking at some video games that left some pretty big mistakes in their games. It's going to be fun having a flick through some of these.
All it takes is one little typo, one little coding error, or one little misread dialogue line, and suddenly we're off to the races.
I mean, I meant to do that. It was deliberate. Like, that's how I'd be writing off if I was a developer. I'd be like, yeah, I totally meant for that to be there. Before we get there, though, it is time for...
Gimme goals! Gimme goals!
We love gimme goals.
I do love a gaming goal.
Anyway.
It's the perfect excuse for me to shun all of my other responsibilities in life, focus on video games. Where do I leave my son, by the way?
He's currently asleep at the moment, but touch wood, he stays in bed. This fortnight, what have you been up to, Brendo?
Well, let's start with Fall Guys.
Yeah.
The beautiful little game that has just captured so many hearts and so many minds and so many increased blood pressures, so many aneurysms, so many tantrums. My gaming goal set for last episode was to win a Fall Guys game. Overall, the entire match.
Yes.
Get the crown.
And?
I think I hate Fall Guys.
My goal last episode was to get to level 10, I believe. And I did it.
Congratulations.
So mine was much more realistic, my goal.
I achieved your goal as well. I'm past level 10
Yes.
also. After multiple failures, I'm leveling up. Isn't that how life is?
I've come second in a game. I've still not won a crown, though, sadly. But I don't play it enough, I think. Like, I've noticed now that there's quite a shift in skill levels since I play it sporadically when I have a spare moment here and there for maybe like 10 to 20 minutes. And there are people on there that definitely have been putting hours and hours and hours into playing. So I can see the gap. And sometimes I feel like I get to the end by a fluke. Like if I get put with a really good team that carries me through some of those team games, then I can make it to the end.
Yeah, the team games I can't stand. I would rather them be always every man for themselves, every jelly blob person for themselves.
Then you know how bad you really are?
Yes, that way if there's any failure, it's completely my fault and there'll be no blaming others for my shortcomings. And that is being humble and owning one's flaws. And yes, I am a flawed man apparently because I can't win a stupid game in Fall Guys. Like you said, I think the average skill of the opponents is getting higher, and I had no problem qualifying the first round. Almost every time I started a game, I would be in that top 40 or top 30 without a doubt. Then I try to show it off to some friends through share play, and what happens? Fail to qualify. Oh, I'll get it next time. Fail to qualify. Oh, qualified, then failed, and then failed to qualify. And I'm like, yeah, I'm normally better at this game than I am at the moment. Mm-hmm. So don't judge me on this. I must have just a bad connection or something.
It's like when we put you on live streaming and things that you're so keenly aware that you've got an audience that all your skill goes out the window. It's hilarious.
No, not all my skill. I just take more risks. That's all.
You try to show off too much.
I thought originally when they announced there was that achievement in Fall Guys to win 5 games in a row. And I thought, that sounds difficult, but I reckon I could do it. I can't even win one. Not even once. I'm still winless, and maybe we should have a tally. Because when did we start playing Fall Guys?
Well, we were talking about it last episode, so it's been at least 2 weeks.
We should have one of those counters like they have at a workplace, days without a workplace injury, and they put the numbers on it so they can keep track of how many days it's been. That's what's going to happen here on this podcast. Days without a Fall Guys victory. I just want 1 crown. It's not too much to ask. I'm not a greedy king. Just 1 crown's enough for me.
I was just happy to pop the trophy to do the taunt right before you win a race, because I had never won a race, and I managed to do the one race that I have won this entire time. I also had enough time to hit the emoticon kind of button to do like a move.
Which game was that you won?
That was the gate one where you jump through and you don't know whether you'll be hitting a wall or not.
Doors.
Yes.
Yep. DoorDash.
And
sounds like a
I
food
just took a gamble and I just went a straight line. And I do this almost every time, right? And sometimes it really pays off or it really hurts my run. But it's more fun to do it that way. Oh, and the last time I played, so funny, and this would have been amazing had I not completely stuffed up, right? The one where you've got the tiles that fall, or you don't know whether it's going to stay or if it's going to fall.
Yep.
You kind of
Some of the floors are false,
yes,
and some of them are real.
And I ran in a straight line. I kid you not. All of them lit up, but I jumped too early at the end.
Oh, no.
And I fell, and everybody else behind me that was following me do my mad dash crossed over, and the game was over in a matter of seconds.
Oh, no. You led the pack.
And part of me wonders if someone else watched it and just laughed their heads off seeing this person that had just run across and had led the way, jumping too early and went, well, what an idiot.
You may have made a fail compilation of Fall Guys.
So there you go. If you see footage of that,
Fail Guys.
That was me. I had the spider skin, the spider web with, I believe, like the bluey, purpley look. So if you witnessed that was my spectacular fail. It was shaping up to be an awesome run of just a straight shot.
And it all fell apart.
Uh-huh. Oh, it's so embarrassing.
Now, I also have popped that trophy to taunt and still win the race. And I did it on Fruit Shoot, where I had a flawless run and nobody else had a flawless run because they were all still miles away. I could have thrown out 20 taunts and snuck in that first place. Interestingly enough, one of the first times I ever actually played Fall Guys, I came first in a race. On Seesaw, I thought Seesaw was the easiest game ever. This is never going to be a problem because I was in the front row. No one else was tilting the things I was on, so I was just, nothing could stop me. I finished first, no problem. And now I do Seesaw and I cannot get the stupid physics right and I'm always plummeting to my doom multiple times. Just misjudging which way it's going to tilt.
It reminds me of the Titanic. When it gets too steep and people are just rolling down.
That's grisly.
Every time it happens, I'm like, oh, no, can't jump on that. It's sinking. It's too steep and it'll spell my doom.
Very funny. Do you have favourite games yet?
I do enjoy the Seesaw one because I feel like I'm good at it. I guess it depends on what I'm good at. There's one that I've only ever done once, and I wish I'd get it again, which is the one that reminds me of actual Wipeout, the TV show where you've got the arm that spins. I've only ever had that once. I want it again.
Yeah.
I want to see if I can do it better.
I wish. I suppose if you did vote, it wouldn't really work. But I just want there to be more games. But there will be in season 2, presumably.
One will hope.
Bringing more surprises.
Without a doubt, I mean, this is the kind of game that if they don't add new levels at a certain point, they'll lose players. and interest
Then
in
I'll
the
be able
game,
to
and
get my
then
win.
the money will start to dip. So it makes sense that they'll keep adding new levels as the game goes on.
Now, before we move on from Fall Guys, does your adrenaline spike as much as mine does when you reach that final game?
If I reach that final game. It's happened like 3 times.
I did it twice in a row one of the other nights I was playing, and I felt sick after the second because, admittedly, it was like 3 a.m. here. I've been doing the late shifts. But, yeah, I didn't want to play Fall Guys after that because I felt sick. From adrenaline.
It's like when we play Overcooked too late. You're like, I can't sleep now. I have to play that game with you early in the day or not at all.
It's like a coffee. You got to strategically place Overcooked Fall Guys to get maximum sleep.
Yes. So, what other games have been overly adrenalizing you?
Overly adrenalizing me, not so much, because I've fallen asleep playing Ghost of Tsushima 3 times in the past 2 weeks. But it was by design. This game can be beautiful and the combat can be aggressive and fun and the stealthing can be sneaky and strategic. But I've also been filling out all of the things to do in the bottom part of the map where you start off. And I have completely clean sweeped every little question mark off that map section. And I'm quite proud of that. Open world games I haven't really 100%ed in quite a while, so I'm looking forward to continuing this journey through that. But going to get some of the shrines, for example, they're out in the middle of these beautiful expanses. You have the sound of wind blowing, maybe some light rain, and as the hours drag on into the night while I'm on baby watch, I have nodded off occasionally. And I don't mind, except for the one time where I was doing a shrine up way high in this mountain range. The Torii gates guide you to where you have to go. Then it's like a big Tomb Raider-esque, Uncharted. Can you climb this mountain? Can you use the right trees, the right rope hook points, etc., etc. Get to the top. There's your reward. And once you activated it, the camera sort of spins around, shows you the lovely area you've just reached, shows you all the lovely scenery. And it was during that point that I must have fallen asleep. But I was still leaning on the controller. Jin Sakai, your character, will walk to an edge unless you fully push that stick. He will not jump off the edge. And so when I came to from my sleep, I was looking down a mountain aside. And for a split second, I thought I was actually standing at the edge of a cliff myself, and it scared the absolute daylights out of me. I just wanted to fall asleep playing a game and not
That's one way to
have
wake
terror.
up.
It was almost as bad as Fall Guys adrenalizing me. Ghost of Tsushima, I achieved my gaming goal. Look at this, I did one. Thank goodness, because Fall Guys was never going to happen. I have finished the entire story part of the first island section. I took that Canada castle, not Canada as in the country, but Canada. It starts with K. It's Japanese. But it's kind of funny when they're all like, oh, we have to go take Canada castle. You just think, they've got maple syrup. We want it.
Yummy.
So the early part of the game, you are a lone samurai trying to recruit allies to take back this castle, save your uncle. It's all very early story stuff, so there's no... I wouldn't consider it spoilers because that premise is set in the first half hour of the game. That mission of you and your allies that you have recruited through their missions, taking that castle, was pretty darn good. And I had a great time with that mission. And it's the sort of mission that once you do it, if you are losing interest in a game, not to say that I was, but that's the sort of mission that will just reignite that flame. And then suddenly you've got a whole new map section to do. New enemy types, new enemy attack patterns and styles. So everything that you have, you feel so powerful by the time I'd done every side quest there was to do on that lower part of the map. Did the story mission, breezed through it. I thought, okay, I am overpowered to a T. This is going to be a piece of cake. Get to that second area, and my goodness, the enemies have got more tricks up their sleeve. Their Mongolian sleeves are filled with tricks. And I am running for my life more often than I would like to admit for a samurai. You should stand and fight with honor, not jump on your horse and book it. Thank goodness the horse is invincible, by the way, because my poor horse has been through the ringer in this game.
That's your secret weapon then.
I have accidentally sliced it trying to climb onto the horse because the controller setup has R2 to climb on the horse, not triangle, which is like every other vehicle and horse game is triangle to climb on the horse. Triangle is the heavy slash. So my poor horse has been slashed a few times. I try to run away from archers and cop a arrow in the horse, which then catapults me off. My horse may have been too obedient and obeyed my command to try and make a jump that was just a little too far down, that we probably should have tried on a cliff edge, and poor horse took a tumble. So poor horse. Sora the horse is that's living up to his name because it is very Sora.
My gaming goals, aside from Fall Guys, I've just been continuing my campaign through Dragon Age Inquisition, and I haven't really been able to do too much story-heavy stuff. It's just been like little bits and pieces because I swear, and I feel like I've brought this up before, where every time I turn the Xbox on, Player 3 hears it and is like, "Oh, you're trying to play games? No." So I've not been making much progress through the story, sadly.
How long is an average run through of Dragon Age Inquisition?
It depends on how much you're doing. I think for one playthrough, you could easily play for like 100 hours if you're getting everything.
Okay. Well, I expect a 50-50 split in the credit because I did play for you for a grand total of about 6 minutes, collecting some goodies, finishing off a quest. So, look. We're in this together. So my gaming goals, I've also been playing Dragon Age Inquisition for a total of 360 seconds. I finished a quest, though.
You did.
I felt good. I blocked caverns.
Yes, and you used up my supercharged move. There's a thing in Inquisition where you can activate the rifts and like it's like an insta-kill move. And I was building it up. It has 3 tiers to it. And the more attacks you do, the more you build and make it even more powerful. And it's the kind of move I like to save for when I have to fight big boss fights like giants and dragons in Dragon Age. Because they don't die instantly, but it does slow them down and it eats away at their health. And it makes that fight so much easier. And Brendo used it on a spider.
Well, look, I saw the fire icon, I saw the electric icon, and I'm like, oh, what's this other one? I pushed it. It did the big thing. I'm like, oh, I remember that. Oh, I hope Jem didn't notice. Oh, Jem noticed. Oh, no.
Yeah, I do. That does bug me that it's on the hotkey button. So that's one of the things about Dragon Age Inquisition that I don't like. Because in the other games, you had all these moves that you could access at any time and having lots and lots of skills, you could use them all and enjoy them all. In Inquisition, you've only got the 6 hotkey buttons and you can only use them. Like, you can rotate them in and out, but you then have to go into the menu to like remap them. And so you eventually just decide these are my 6 favorite moves and those are the ones I will toggle, and then you can't use any of your other skills that you've invested points into. It's just one of those little pet peeves that I have.
Sounds like me on the dance floor. Here are my 6 favourite moves and all my other skills are useless. Apart from those games, the only other thing I've been focusing on in the past fortnight, it is Back from the Dead yet again, the game that refuses to die, just like the character you play as. Dark Souls 2 has made its way back to my primary title yet again. Sorry, Tsushima. Sorry, Fall Guys. Dark Souls 2 is where my focus is right now, and I am unbelievably making a run for the Platinum Trophy in this game, which will require still a lot more work, but I have put in the effort in this past fortnight. I have indeed beaten the main game. I have defeated the final boss, and the good thing is, when it comes to New Game Plus in Dark Souls 2, you can start it whenever you want. So after you beat that final boss, you just go straight back to the main bonfire, the main village, and you can mop up anything that you have left undone. You can collect any goodies that you have not yet collected. You can go through and, in the case of my Platinum checklist, collected a whole lot of spells, purchasing a whole lot of spells from various people, and I don't believe it, but I might be going for this Platinum. something that I didn't plan on doing, but when I play games, I don't like to lock myself out of the platinum if I return to them in the future. So I had done the first few steps that were required during my first playthrough. But in the past fortnight, I have crafted some new materials and equipment and things to modify my build. I am now working with a bit of magic as well, something I have never done in a Dark Souls game. I'm running more a hybrid class now. Thankfully, I could repurpose my full strength, full shield, full armor build and throw in a little bit of magical pizzazz. It has weakened some of my other strategies, but I am adapting my gameplay. It's kind of exciting to play it in a different way. I have been collecting all the little checkboxes that have been left undone, and there's also been some standard issue gameplay in the DLC areas of this game, which are incredibly difficult. There are 3 of them. I've hit a roadblock in all 3, but thanks to some jolly cooperation last night, I was able to defeat a gigantic snow tiger, and I am so happy because I was banging my head against that boss legitimately for well over an hour, and I am so glad that some stranger out there was able to help me defeat that last night. So I can actually make some more progress again. I have very little as far as spells and things that I do need to collect before I start New Game Plus. Part of me just wants to explore as much as I can before starting a New Game Plus because I feel that will be a much more streamlined, faster journey through the game. But considering to get the Platinum Trophy, I do need to get halfway through New Game Plus. It's still going to be quite a way away. So look forward to more Gaming Goals updates of Dark Souls 2, the game that refuses to die. And wish me luck, please, because this is going to take a lot of effort and quite a bit of flukiness as well. And that's it for Gaming Goals. Make sure you hang around because we've got some gaming news coming up. Plus, what exactly has made our hometown of Melbourne, Australia, world famous in the video game landscape?
Share the love. Follow us on Twitter at BrendoGem. That's BrendoJem.
Normally, this would be the time of year when we would dedicate like a whole episode to this. Games Done Quick Summer Edition raised $2.3 million. Well done, guys.
I love Games Done Quick. Haven't actually had a chance to view any at the moment. I've been playing my own games slowly. It seems that I haven't had time at the moment to watch some Games Done Quick. Normally, I set aside an hour or two during those festivals to watch games that I know I'm going to enjoy watching being broken within an inch of their life. And unfortunately, didn't come to pass this time.
Well, there is plenty to catch up on. Lots of fun, speed runs, and seeing games getting broken to the nth degree, all for a good cause. So well done, guys. It's a mammoth effort. $2.3 million.
Very nice.
Also about money, but kind of in a bad way. There is the ongoing fight between Apple and Epic, as Apple pulled Fortnite from their store, and now Microsoft has said that they're backing Epic Games as they take it on Apple and Google.
Why on earth would Microsoft ever go against Apple? That just seems inappropriate. What is interesting about this is that if you have not downloaded Fortnite onto your mobile devices, you can't do it right now. And so children are distraught worldwide yet again because Fortnite is out of their reach. People are reselling their iPhones and their Android phones that have Fortnite installed for thousands of dollars.
Wow.
So look, I'm just saying, maybe we shouldn't have shunned Fortnite all these years. Maybe we should have been on the Fortnite train because that's where the money gets made.
But if you're selling those phones, wouldn't you have to, you'd have to like basically sell a phone that has access to
all your stuff.
Yeah.
You couldn't clear it.
You wouldn't be able to clear it. That's dangerous. Anyway.
So enjoy my pre and post workout shirtless photos. Whoever bought my phone with Fortnite on it, because I couldn't delete them.
Sadly, another game has been delayed thanks to coronavirus. Deathloop, now not coming out till 2021.
Interestingly, there was some news about the PlayStation 5 DualSense controller when it comes to the game Deathloop. If your gun jams in the game, the trigger will refuse to be pulled on the controller. How cool is that? I
Very
can't wait to break it. How many people are going to break their controller triggers by trying to force it after it's jammed?
Oh, no. Some good news for those of us who love co-op. As we mentioned earlier at the beginning of the episode, Untitled Goose Game is getting a free update with free co-op September 23rd, our anniversary day.
September 23rd. Sounds familiar. Yes.
But another game is getting co-op as well, Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes, in an unexpected twist. A single-player, purely single-player game has always been envisioned as a single-player game.
Yes.
Is getting a cooperative post-launch update with taking on demons and yokai and oni and all the other things from Japanese folklore. I think that was actually historically accurate in the Great War of Tsushima as well. Yes. The Mongols opened up the Ghostbusters gates and here they came. The Oni arrived. But thankfully, Jin Sakai has his yokai watch, so he will befriend them.
It's all their fault. All their fault.
I think that's exactly what happened on the Wikipedia page about the invasion of Tsushima.
And our home city of Melbourne is making gaming news, not just because we make great games like, Untitled Goose Game, You're Welcome World. Flight Simulator came out recently and there was a bit of a glitch around Melbourne, Victoria. There was a 2-story building in Fawkner, which is a suburb, and it suddenly became a 212-story building, making this monolith suddenly, in this suburb, sticking out like a sore thumb.
Little typo on the details for that building. Has
just one too many zeros in the 00101.
And as a result, because it's only supposed to be a normal-sized building, not an actual skyscraper, it is very tall, but very thin. And everyone is flying worldwide to Melbourne in Flight Simulator to view our monolith, to attempt to land on top of the monolith. There are footage all around. The monolith of Melbourne. It's like an evil lair has been built. It's Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated. I'm excited to go to
It's the tower from Dragon Ball.
Corrin's Tower.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I love it. So, all because somebody left, instead of 2 as the amount of stories, 212. Fat fingers are to blame.
It is the only way that you're going to fly around Australia at the moment, or into Australia. International flights inwards and outwards are almost all but banned. So I guess this is the only fix that people can really get for international travel at the moment.
So what you're saying is people from overseas can't actually know if we have the monolith or not in real life. It could be real.
You won't know until, what is the earliest they're saying on the news? July next year. Oh, that hurts. That hurts for people who... I love traveling. I don't enjoy so much the actual plane part, but I love checking out new destinations and things. So knowing that is kind of forcibly cut off for the foreseeable future is sapping my joy a little. But at least we can laugh at games like Flight Simulator.
Yes, indeed. Well, Flight Simulator is certainly not the only game that has had a little mistake in some coding or an oversight in the game development that has made the cut of the final product. We'll have a look at those after this.
You're listening to the Gaming Lovers Podcast. Want to join the conversation? Visit thegaminglovers.com. Record your comment or question by clicking on the button on the right-hand side. And you could be featured in the next podcast.
Let's start off with a pretty infamous mistake in a video game, and it comes down to some bit of voice acting that was mistakenly left in The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. Someone did a take and then went, you know what, let me do that again, let me do another take. And they clearly, whoever was the editor, the engineer on this, did not cut out that. They left it all in one chunk audio file.
No, look, the NPC was just giving directions, got a little tongue-tied, and said, let me do that again.
Let me tell you how to, again, and I'll put more enthusiasm in my instructions this time.
Hey, we're alive, pal.
So you feel a little bad for the voice actor in question because it's not their fault.
Not their fault.
Not their fault.
Not like the yokai. But there's another mistake that happened in Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion as well, and it has been praised for the speedrunning community worldwide because they forgot to add physics. You've got buckets, you've got lettuce, you've got wheels of cheese, swords, shields, armor. Everything has its physics, everything has its own weight, everything has its own degree of what happens when you drop it. Except for paintbrushes, which apparently are immune to the laws of physics.
Fun. So is it like a Mickey Mouse paintbrush and it just goes on a crazy adventure and starts painting and changing everything?
No, this one can just be dropped wherever you want it and it will stay floating in the air, but it can also support your weight, which means if you collect some paintbrushes, there are no walls that you cannot scale and make a makeshift ladder out of paintbrushes, simply because physics were ignored. And if you're in high school right now or in college and you think physics aren't important, well, there you go. They are important because if you don't apply physics to paintbrushes, people will climb over your castle walls. That is an issue of national security.
One of my favourite things about a lot of Japanese games that get localized for the West is if they don't do a good job with the translations. And there's so many memes that have been born from bad localizations, poor translations, and
all your base are belong to us.
One such instance was in Metal Gear. The
Vintage Metal Gear.
Yes, the original.
Pre-solid.
There's a random guard that you're trying to just sneak past who says, I feel asleep. I don't know if he was trying to say I fell asleep or I feel sleepy.
Well, he's informing you the fact that he has in fact fallen asleep. So, first of all, that is true Japanese courtesy right there to inform you that they have fallen asleep.
I am asleep. Let me tell you that I am asleep. Would you believe a guard that's telling you that they're asleep?
Not only that, he has transcended just falling asleep. He feels asleep. I feel asleep.
Classic.
Another good one from Zelda 2, The Adventures of Link, featured a character who, when you talk to them, they said, I am error. Now, people thought this may have been just a glitch that was left in and the NPC had failed to compute something. But in reality, it turned out that the character's name was supposed to be Errol.
Oh.
And so, what happens with Japanese L's and R's? I am Errol became no. I am error.
Oh, that's a shame. That's pretty funny.
Now, sometimes these are amusing and sometimes they are absolutely terrifying. And if you are looking for the follow-up to Slender, if you're looking to the follow-up to the Weeping Angels from Doctor Who, look no further than Sherlock Holmes' assistant, Mr. Watson. Because in the game Sherlock Holmes' Nemesis, the designers didn't really program a walking animation for Watson.
So he's just floating?
But they wanted him to follow you around, but they didn't program him to actually have an animation. So he will stand perfectly still if you're looking at him, but as soon as you look away and look back, he'll be right next to you.
Oh my gosh, he really is one of the Weeping Angels.
He will follow you around without walking, only moving outside of your viewpoint.
That's so creepy.
Very similar to Mr. Slenderman himself too. And as a result, Mr. Watson has become one of the most feared video game characters that will stalk you. Forget Nemesis. I mean, this game's called Sherlock Holmes Nemesis, so maybe you don't have to forget Nemesis. Forget Mr. X. Forget the alien from Alien Isolation. Mr. Watson will stalk you and raid your sanity for everything you have left. Simply because they thought it would be an easier way to program it. What could possibly go wrong?
It's just elementary, my dear Watson. Without a doubt, one of the funniest ones on our list has to be from Hitman Blood Money. Hitman
Hitman
makes the
himself.
list.
Agent 47.
Oft times you might have someone that's like a project manager, someone in charge that delegates and gives menial tasks to several other people to do. And I imagine that it was somebody's job to write in, basic descriptions of items and such that you find in a game. Yeah?
Yes.
Well, Alan really dropped the ball.
Oh, Alan. Not Alan.
Because in Hitman Blood Money, you come across a tray which has like lobsters.
Usually they'll be the sort of things you can smuggle your guns in through security checkpoints.
Yes. So like a crate that's just got goods that are meant for the kitchen, and it says in the description, Alan, please add details.
Oh, Alan.
It's kind of like when you're editing a movie and you have those like the quick drag title screens, and you don't remember to actually add in the text, or
no,
you do add text but it doesn't actually save the text, and then it goes back to the default title text here.
Have you done this recently?
Yeah, that may have happened to me quite recently. I had it in it, but it reset, and I didn't double check as thoroughly as I usually do, and it went to air with the title screen like that, and a bit of a facepalm moment.
Well, let's just blame Alan. Unreliable Alan.
I feel your pain, Alan.
Please leave details. Please add details, Alan. Now, one that myself and my younger sister actually discovered to her shock and horror was playing Grand Theft Auto San Andreas back on the PS2 days, where there was the ability to do cooperative play for certain missions. Now, admittedly, this one is more of a bug than an actual error programmed into the game, but it was not picked up during testing, and so it did become quite famous worldwide. And it is one that myself and my younger sister had discovered purely by accident back in the day. Grand Theft Auto, although we were quite young, we did like to play Grand Theft Auto games in the style of just, it's a tourism simulator, and we try not to commit crimes if at all possible. Now, if you're doing a cooperative mission in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, you could have two players causing all sorts of carnage, but if player 2 attacked player 1 with a katana, player 1 would become decapitated, and the hostilities, the violence, the game over would cause the cooperative session to finale, complete. Done. Back to single player action. However, the protagonist CJ's head would still be missing, and he would be a everlasting fountain of blood squirting out of that neck. So, probably not how the game is supposed to be enjoyed. A headless corpse walking around a fictional American towns. But hey, sometimes these things slip between the cracks, and you never know what sort of combination of issues will cause you problems as a game developer.
Share the love. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/thegaminglovers.
Well, we've come to an end of another episode, my dear, and it is time for gaming goals.
Yes.
Looking forward, what do we plan on playing in the next 2 weeks? What goals are we setting in the gaming world?
Are you going to try to get another crown, or I should say a crown, in Fall Guys?
Yes. I didn't know what emotion to elicit then. I didn't know whether to be angry, depressed, optimistic.
How about all of the above?
Yes, I'm going to do it. This is the week. This is the time. This is the moment. My time to shine. And if I don't get it, I'm going to be an angry man and then fall into depression and eat ice cream. Fall Guys, I want to win. I want to win.
Mm-hmm.
And with an update coming that includes the ability to invert your Y-axis on PS4 at long last, maybe that is the one reason why I have not been able to be playing at 100%. I've been handicapped so far. It's been unfair. Brendo against the world. Fall Guys.
That is one thing that has driven me a little nuts.
I want you to win a game as well. Is that setting a bar too high for both of us? No, I mean for both of us. Is there too much pressure on the Gaming Lovers podcast. It wasn't a reflection on your skill. That's not what I meant. I meant that if we can't achieve this, normally I'll achieve a gaming goal, you don't. Or you achieve a gaming goal and I don't. Mm-hmm. If we both set a goal and it's the same goal, we both fail, that's it. Podcast has to end.
Those are some steep terms. We both know when it comes to platforming games that is one of my weaknesses. So don't count on me being the one. I mean, it would be really funny if I did win and you still hadn't by the next episode. We will see what happens in this next fortnight.
So you're saying I should be the Fall Guys breadwinner. I should be
should.
bringing home the crowns for the family.
You should.
3 crowns.
In theory,
for the
you
family.
should be doing much better than me. I did feel a little smug, I gotta say, this past fortnight with the slime climb level, which is notoriously one of the hardest levels, if not the hardest, in the whole game.
Especially if Donkey's guarding that bridge.
I have had people do that, though, when I've played, so who knows? Maybe I have crossed paths with the donkey. But needless to say, honestly, sometimes I don't even get to that point. That level's so hard, and people deliberately sabotage quite early on in that game now. But I was playing it once or twice, and you were like, Jem, you're doing it wrong. You're not doing it at the right time. And then you finally had a go, and you died earlier than I did.
I did even worse.
Oh.
So who knows? I'll
So
lend
there
you
was
my
one-
energy.
But there are levels that I feel like I'm better at, and there are definitely levels that you are much better at than I am.
Okay, your
So,
gaming goal. as
Maybe
far
we
as-
should play together.
We'll switch out. Whoever has the advantage of the game. You're on tail tag then, because I was terrible at tail tag. Your challenge, your gaming goal this week is to play Fall Guys without waking up our child with your laughter.
Impossible.
Because you laugh so loudly when we play Fall Guys.
You're about to die, honey. You're laughing so hard. Breathe.
Oh, my
Breathe.
word. It's funny. I love your loud burst laughter that comes out during
Yes.
Fall Guys sessions.
And it is something I share with Lady Nat. When something really tickles us, it's hard to contain that burst of very loud laughter.
We still haven't done a big online group session of Fall Guys.
No.
Maybe that's what we need to do this fortnight.
I would like to do some more online gaming while we're still stuck in lockdown. Some co-op, even if it's just a bit of Overcooked. It's a little harder with player 3, but if he does stay down magically when he is supposed to go to bed, if we ever catch that flying unicorn, then that's what I would like to do. So I have a lot of gaming goals that kind of fall under the wish category. So I wish this would happen, and I wish this would happen.
Well, don't use them all up at once. We only get 3 wishes
Okay.
traditionally, so don't blow them all on Fall Guys or Overcooked.
And hopefully we'll get to do another big story chunk this next fortnight of Dragon Age Inquisition. So I've been able to do a little bit here and there, but I would like to do the next big story arc. I believe that's the part where you go to the Winter Palace.
I like that bit.
To stop the assassination attempts.
When I played that, Shamgar, the giant Kunari bad boy, looked very dapper in his fancy suit.
Was he a good dancer?
He was fantastic. He's got hoof feet. No, I don't know.
Okay. What about you? Aside from Fall Guys?
Aside from Fall Guys, Dark Souls 2, as I said earlier, has overtaken Tsushima as my new primary game yet again. It's the game that refuses to give up, and I refuse to give up at it as well. So I'm going to hopefully finish everything I need to do in my first run, start a new game plus, and march my way towards that platinum. It's not going to happen in this fortnight, but I want to start New Game Plus, which means I need to get through the Iron King DLC to get the last few spells that I need to get everything done ready for New Game Plus. It is flipping hard, and I'm having some problems. But if I can do anything this week, hopefully it's this. Fall Guys would be nice, but I don't want to get stuck in this game for this long and lose all my love for it. Also, Ghost of Tsushima. I don't expect that I'm going to get through this second island section because it is quite expansive, and I have picked up so many quests to do in Ghost of Tsushima, but I have unlocked new armor, new fancy pants weaponry. I got fire arrows now, so I'm just feeling all sorts of cool. And I'm enjoying everything: jewels, fox dens, shrines, haiku. I love a good haiku in this game. It's all going so well. I love Tsushima. I want to keep playing it. And let's just say, all right, I've got legitimately probably about close to a dozen quests ready to go on this second island. So maybe if I get through half of those, I'll be happy. I might surprise myself and steamroll through this second area. It does look geographically smaller than the first area, so it might be possible. I'm not sure, but I'm going to try my best to enjoy Tsushima as well. And as a bonus, my good buddy the Falcon has been absent thanks to work, dastardly work, getting in the way of our midnight to 4 a.m. video game sessions, but he's got some days off coming up, and we plan on playing cooperatively Resident Evil 5, a game that I've never played cooperatively, and apparently it's so much better cooperatively than single player. Who would have thought that a intelligent human being that can know when to shoot, when to run, would be better co-op partner than an AI who just wastes all your bullets?
It boggles the mind.
Oh, it's amazing, isn't it? Technology. It's still useless. Resident Evil 5, I haven't played since the Xbox 360 era when it first came out. So it has been a long time between drinks. There is a HD remaster on the PS4 that myself and my good buddy the Falcon scooped up for a tidy little price. And we are going to enjoy some cooperative gaming together come rain, hail, shine or lockdown. So you said you wanted to enjoy some co-op gaming. Maybe you and the family should play Resident Evil 5.
No.
I was checking out the trophies for it. I think only 55% of players got past like the first 2 chapters of the game because it's that intense.
Yeah. No, thank you.
And that's it for another episode of the Gaming Lovers podcast. Alan, please add in some details here for the farewell. Thanks, Alan.
Bye, Nara.
Chowski.
Thanks for listening to the Gaming Lovers podcast. For more episodes or to watch some live stream gaming, visit thegaminglovers.com.